Hey, it's me, Alessandro again. How are you guys? Are you happy? Are you still burning for Jesus? So, I just want to share a little bit with you guys about hunger for God, actually. We started the last episode, the last podcast. I just spoke a little bit about the knowledge of God, the like eternal life and calling and everything. And actually, I want to invite you guys to listen to that if you didn't yet. And we have all the episodes as well. Me and Brunia, my wife. We have some things going on in our channel and actually Spotify and everything. So yeah, you're very welcome, and actually I will be so happy to see you in some of our other videos as well. But yeah, today I was just right now talking with some friends, and then PJ said, "Man, I think you should talk a little bit more about hunger." And then I think that's a good thing to talk, right? So I just wanna, because if we understand, and I think you guys got it, but if we understand that, then to know God and to become like Him is our first priority in life. So we should desire Him. And actually, when we look to Genesis 2, let us read that Genesis 2. Then, like, Genesis 2, um, Genesis 2 7, I think. So then the Lord God formed the man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nose the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. So this word living creature in the original is actually throat, literally is actually throat. In the original, that the word is nefesh. So, what is the mean of nefesh? The mean is actually throat. So, hunger, to desire. And actually, when we look to Genesis, then Genesis 2, verse 7, doesn't say that man started to have a life, or start to have nefesh, start to have uh, uh, I don't know, hunger, but actually say, and the man became nefesh, became living creature, which means to us that we don't have hunger, we are hunger, we are desire. So we have this guy in Brazil called Jonas Madureira, and actually we have this guy in English as well, J.K. Smith, and they both write things really similar about that. And I agree with them when they say that the man, like human being, we are formed, we are actually led by our desires, by our hunger, because actually we are desire. There's a friend of mine. He wrote a song. He wrote. Actually, I wrote a song about that as well, but he kind of copied me. I'm just joking, but okay. But he wrote a song is in our Spotify, our church Spotify, and he wrote a song. I used to be someone's servant. Actually, he wrote, I used to be my own servant. I was slave to my own desires, but now I'm God's servant. Which means, if you say, oh, I'm free, I mean, I'm free, I can decide wherever I want, I can just live my life wherever I want. I mean, you lying to yourself, you cannot. Because you are a slave for your own desires. You know, if you don't serve God, you serve someone else. You serve your own desires. You serve Satan. You serve the secular mindset, because we are definitely what we desire. You're gonna eat what you desire, and then you say, no, I eat what is good for me, because your desire is to be healthy. Because if you don't have a strong desire of being healthy, you just eat whatever you want. So actually, we have strong desires to things, and then because we have strong desire to become something, we actually take and adapt ourselves to the bad parts as well of that process, of the process of being whatever we want to be. So for example, I want to be a good father, but to be a good father I have to deal with the bad days with my daughters, because there's some bad days, guys. Like there's some days that my daughters, they're just boring or just annoying me. You know what I mean? And then I have to endure that, which means I need to be someone that have kind of liturgy or like discipline to endure the bad days. But my fascination isn't about the discipline alone, but my fascination is I want to be a good father. And that's why I endure the process. Is that making sense? So we don't have hunger. We, we are hunger. We are desire. So where is our desire? Because if we understand that God is eternal life, God is actually the purpose of everything. He's our inheritance. He is everything for us. Okay, so we need to be hunger for Jesus. We need to be completely hungry for Jesus. So that means that we need to become man and woman of one thing. As David once one time said, he wrote, "One thing have I asked of the Lord, that we I seek after, that I may dwell in his house forever, and gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple." So man, we need to learn to be people of one thing. I'm definitely convinced that there's so many things, keep like we're keeping our attention in so many things at the same time. And I want to like kind of put this challenge today for you to love one thing. One thing is actually necessary. Paul says, "But whatever gain I had, I counted as loss for the sake of Christ." We are talking about David and Paul. We are not talking about just Alessandro or you. That's not like, because maybe you have a bad life, I don't know, boring life, and you're like, okay, I can relate to that. But no, Paul and David, they had everything. David was a king, and Paul was like he was insane preacher. He was amazing in everything he did. And at the end of his life, he writes, you know what I mean? Like, you know what? Whatever gain I had, I counted as loss for the sake of Christ. I don't care about those things. I just want to know him and to be like him. So we need actually to understand that our faith isn't just I don't know, about our mindset or minds, or how can we understand things. I'm not saying that you don't need to understand things. I'm just saying that our faith, it's about desire. Our relationship with God, it's about desire. So today, I want to actually challenge you. Can you become a person of one thing? Can you be so fascinated, so in love, on fire for Jesus, that will become your obsession? Actually, you be like, I have my one thing. I cannot look to other things. Give us those eyes. You know what is mean? What that means? Means to have eyes for just one thing. And actually, there's this invitation in John 17 that I love to read. John 17:24 says, Jesus is praying, Father, I desire that they also, whom you have given me, may be with me where I am, to see my glory that you have given me, because you loved me before the foundation of the world. So Jesus is inviting us to come. He's inviting us to be in a place of glory and beholding him, and contemplating him, and just like loving and gaze upon him. Guys, that's the real deal, man. That's to become that is something that would take the whole of your life, not just a part of it. Like that would actually take the whole of it. Is that making sense? So we need to talk more about hunger. We need to talk more about like to get in love with God. I remember, and maybe I'll end with that. I remember that one day I was preaching in the church, and then I did this altar calling, and my message was about knowing God. And at the end I said, if you want to know God, just come to the front and I want to pray for you. And nowadays I have this like amazing disciple friend of mine. His name is Simon, and he lives in Brazil. And I was writing my book, my last book, about a hunger for Jesus, hunger for God. And he told me this testimony of him, because he was in that church in that day and we didn't like know each other. But he told me, when you did that and when you called people to just know God, I was kind of lost, because no one in my whole life did something like that. I was Christian for a while already, but no one did that, because I was already Christian. I already accept Jesus Christ in my heart, already did that prayer. But on that day, I was like, is he calling me to actually just be more in love for Jesus and like just keep going, like keep knowing him? And he told me that he was completely lost. He was like, what should I do now? Because if I go to the front, is people gonna like maybe think that I don't know Jesus? And actually, when I wrote Yeshua, the song, there's this part in the lyric that says, I want to know you more, I want to know you, Jesus. And actually in Portuguese, more like, it's just like straight, I want to know Jesus, I want to know Jesus. There's no I want to know you more. um and then I remember that in the first like maybe couple months that I released the song, people used to write to me and saying like, you don't know Jesus, like you're not Christian. But the thing is that people, they are so used to just go to the church, like listen to some good preaching and do whatever we do, and don't actually dig deep and the real meaning of being like Jesus' disciple, which means to take all of our fascination, affections, desire, and completely change the nature of it. So if one day I was fascinated about money, I don't care about that anymore. If one day I was fascinated about preaching, I don't care about that anymore, because all my affection is actually now placed upon Jesus. And he's everything that I just want to know and I want to be. He's everything that I want to know and I want to be. Uh, and Simon was like talking to me, and we were just actually laughing about that. And I wrote about that in my book, because it's so sad, guys, to think that most of our young people, most of our like Christian fellas, they are just in church, waiting to die. They're just in church, like living some, I don't know, lost and random life. So, yeah, that's strong, right? That's powerful. So, yeah, so that being said, I just want to like end this video. I just want to bless you guys. Thank you for watching it. Thank you for being here with us. As I said in the last one, we're gonna keep recording things for you, keep releasing here on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, I don't know, iTunes, I don't know. So we just gonna keep uploading things. Thank you for trusting in us, and I hope I see you soon. Like I don't know, Europe, UK, Brazil, Chile, America do Norte. I don't know. See you guys. Bye bye.